with its genius spooky comedy and one of the greatest characters of all time, Herman Munster. A monster with a big heart. Okay, that's enough. Now let's get this thing started.
There, that ought to lift the spirits.
Grandpa, forget it!
In this episode, Grandpa and Herman are mistaken for two bank robbers who have been robbing banks using Halloween masks.
I'd like all the money. Oh, thank you, miss. You give very quick service.
It's a pleasure doing business with you.
The episode really starts to get good when Grandpa and Herman decide to break back into the bank to return all the money. Anytime you put these two together in a situation where they find themselves in some sort of trouble, you know you're in for a lot of laughs.
Well, that was easy enough. All we have to do is go home and...
Herman, we're locked in. Herman, we're trapped. Herman, we're hermetically sealed in here. We may never get out of here.
Well, it'll teach us a darn good lesson to be more careful next time.
The best part of this is when Grandpa and Herman are trying to call the police department from inside the safe. And for some reason, the number's not 911. Watching Herman trying to remember the phone number as Grandpa throws all these numbers at him, it's comedy gold at its best.
177-9771.
Right. When you get the police, they'll be here in 5 or 10 minutes. If they go like 60, we'll have 7 or 8 of them down here in 20 winks. 2, 3, 4, and they'll open the door. Herman, what are you waiting for, Herman? Dial a number.
You made me forget it.
In this episode, Herman's con artist twin brother has come to town.
Well, bless me, if it isn't Herman.
Charlie says his partner gave him special permission to sell it to us. He says I couldn't make a safer investment.
Fred Gwynn is nothing short of a comedy genius. And on this episode, we see him take on double roles. I always felt like this was something of a special treat for the viewer.
For the first time in my life, I've been forced to look myself in the face, and it's a pretty frightening picture. I get the feeling I've just been insulted.
Now, the really funny part about this episode is that everybody trusts Charlie, no matter how many times Herman tells them that he's up to no good.
Charlie Munster is a scoundrel and a con artist from way back. Why, the doctor who put him together didn't have an honest bone in his whole laboratory. The ocean is also full of suckers. And I'm going to see to it that you're not one of them.
The scientific mind, this means just one thing.
Yes, it means that Uncle Charlie
Broke it. I broke Uncle Charlie's machine.
And there's also some pretty classic jokes in this episode.
Why, if your grandmother were alive, she'd be turning over in her grave. If you don't learn to be more careful, the next time Grandma dies, she'll leave her money to someone else. I keep telling you, Charlie's always been the white sheep in this family. When are you going to believe me? When? Never mind!
In this episode, Eddie wins a spot on his favorite new TV show, Zombo.
Eddie Munster, 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Herman starts to get jealous as he watches his son start to idolize Zombo.
When I grow up, I want to be just like Zombo.
But son, I thought you wanted to be just like me.
Herman will do anything to become his son's hero once again.
It won't last long, but for a short time, you'll be so good looking, you'll out-Zombo Zombo.
Watching actors who are playing monsters on a TV show, believing that a monster on a TV show is real,
You know, I had no idea that Zombo was such a handsome man.
Hasn't he got a cutest smirk?
And are in complete shock when they find out that it's just an actor playing a part.
It must have disappointed a lot of little children who believed in him.
Little children? How about me?
It's freaking hilarious. It's what I really love about this episode. Watching the show poke fun of itself. And the fact that Grandpa has a play goal in this episode.
They make the mist and the cobwebs you see on your screen.
Isn't anything around here real?
Real? This is television.
Eddie is failing science and might be expelled from school. So Grandpa comes to the rescue and helps him build a robot for his science fair project.
You know, Eddie, this is turning out to be the finest robot we've ever made.
There are a lot of great things about this episode. The joke book.
I just invented something to keep the inside of my car quiet. It fits right over her mouth.
When Herman faints at the sight of oil. Or I love when Grandpa gives the house tour to the guy from the Board of Education.
More?
Never more.
What are these restraining straps for?
Well, some of my experiments don't like it.
And then sicks the robot on him.
Sick 'em!
Yeah?
And of course, when Eddie's school mistakes Herman for the robot, while he's on stage telling jokes and doing tricks.
You'll have to bear with me if I don't function too well. Who wears the biggest hat in the world? The man with the biggest head. I tell you, they're my kind of people. They love me out there. I got them right in the palm of my hand.
And what's this episode without an exploding robot? Rockabye Munster starts with Herman and Grandpa eavesdropping on Marilyn and Lily.
Wonderful for Eddie to have a little playmate, Aunt Lily. But what about breaking the news to Uncle Herman?
Grandpa and Herman mistakenly think that the playmate they're referring to is Lily being pregnant.
She's having a baby? And telling me is just a detail? What do you think, Grandpa? Will it be a boy or a girl?
Probably.
This episode is perfect from top to bottom. Every joke is brilliantly written and delivered.
It's my boy!
Al Lewis and Fred Gwynn are brilliant in this episode, and their chemistry is amazing like usual.
Herman, he's trying to say Daddy.
Kitsy, goo.
Even a new character, Dr. Dudley, coming into this episode is extremely funny.
Oh, looks rather like a tall penguin, doesn't he?
This is also the episode that the Munsters get their family car. One of the greatest cars in television history.
Lily!
Happy birthday! How do you like it, Herman?
Come on, everybody, hop in. I'll take us all for a ride through the cemetery.
Herman gets hit with a 300-pound safe, which gives him amnesia and sends him into childhood.
Who won, Mommy?
It was a tie.
Darn. You're always taking his side.
Lily ends up having to adopt Herman as her son in this episode.
Do you want to go home with these people and become a member of this family?
Gonna have my own television set?
Yep, the silly is turned full blast on this one. And to be honest, I really enjoy it. I find it to be really funny. Mostly because of Herman.
And besides, I think you're playing favorites. Just because Eddie's really yours and I'm just adopted.
Brother Eddie, Mommy said I can play with a kite too.
Yeah, like I said, pretty silly, but I really enjoy watching it.
Well, I say it's still too short.
It is not.
It is too.
It is not.
It is too.
It is not.
It is not.
What is going on here?
Well,
I the kind that we're trying to put...
You should be ashamed of yourself. A big boy like you pushing his little brother?
He pushed me first.
Eddie signs up Herman for the school talent show. There's only one problem. Herman has no talent. So it's Grandpa to the rescue.
Just pick any magic dancing powder you want for any kind of dance you want. Be my guest.
But Eddie has different plans for his father for talent night.
I said you were the world's greatest magician.
Some episodes I can tell just by the name that I'm absolutely gonna love it. And this is one of those episodes. I mean, who doesn't want to see Herman attempt to be a magician? I know I sure do. Even more hilarity comes into play as Grandpa helps Herman from behind the scenes without Herman's knowledge. Herman starts to become quite full of himself, which doesn't make Lily too happy as he tries to make her disappear.
Isn't that just like a woman? She doesn't want to go anywhere where she can't spend money.
This is just a fun episode. All the characters are great and funny. It's got magic. I mean, who doesn't like an episode like this?
Willie!
Herman has been sneaking out every night, practicing to become a detective. Suspicion starts to set in as Lily wonders why Herman is showing up in the middle of the night and believes her husband is having an affair.
Secret work, my foot. I'll just bet he's seeing another woman.
Oh, Aunt Lily.
Lily ends up hiring a detective agency to follow her husband, not knowing it's the same detective agency that's training Herman.
I certainly hope you don't find out it's another woman. I'd hate to lose Herman. He's one in a million.
I'm a big fan of detective characters and stories. Whether it's a more serious or comedic approach, I'm usually all on board. So you can say this episode's right up my alley.
See? Here's my fingerprinting equipment.
Watching Herman as he practices trying to be a detective by putting on different disguises is a personal highlight for me on the Munsters show.
One, two, three.
But I have to say my favorite part is when Herman and Grandpa are down in his laboratory putting together a sketch of the person that Herman is supposed to follow.
This man is a philanderer.
Herman, this man is a bum. Height, 7'3".
Long on sides, flat on top. What are you looking at?
Nothing. Lantern jaw.
Lantern jaw, pierce It's classic. Ist das nicht ein Classic, Grandpa? Here's what a poor boob looks like.
This poor boob is you.
Me? No.
This is by far the coolest Munster episode of all time. Herman loses the family Munsters car in a drag race, so it's Grandpa to the rescue with his Dragula. I think of this as the Grandpa episode.
It's childish, idiotic, and utterly fantastic. When can you start on it?
First thing in the morning.
Nope, it doesn't get better than this. Al Lewis was an extremely talented, funny man who was truly meant to play a character like Grandpa. What he put into the character is not something that anybody can duplicate.
I ask you, is this an automobile or is this an automobile?
Born 1367, died, ?
Herman, at a time like this, you're taking pictures?
I just couldn't help it. You look so natural sitting in that box.
One of Grandpa's experiments goes wrong and transforms Herman. Seeing Fred Gwynne play Herman without all the makeup and padding made me truly realize how much the actor put into the character.
I've never seen that man before in my life.
From the face expressions, to the voice, to the laugh, to the way he moved his body, Fred Gwynne's extraordinary talent and dedication that he put into the character will leave you in awe.
Grandpa, throw the rest of this water in my face. Maybe it'll wash off.
You'll never be able to do what?
I'll never be able to go through the rest of my life with a face like this.
And if what he put into the character isn't amazing enough, knowing that he was going through these extremely long days of makeup and going through extreme suffering wearing a rubber foam suit, and then going in and doing an extraordinary performance and being extremely funny. I mean, come on, the guy's amazing.
I'm back! I'm Herman Munster, your handsome husband.
And violence is very naughty.
Way far out Munsters, man.